Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Husker Talk podcast. I'm Sam Laughlin, as always, joined by Mr. Johnny Zerker.
How we doing?
And today we have a special guest, Lance Wimhoff. Lance, how are you, buddy?
Boys, how we doing?
We got Lance on here to talk a little Husker baseball. We got a Husker baseball episode with us today. Season 6 kicks off tomorrow. How about it? Can't believe it's already here.
Spring.
It's definitely some spring weather out right now.
Oh, yeah, I can't ask for better weather.
Yeah, it's nice. The boys are in Tempe, Arizona right now. They play tomorrow, Friday the 17th, starting a 4-game series across the whole weekend with California Riverside. Should be a good matchup. This weather feels like Tempe, Arizona weather. I don't know.
71 degrees right now.
I can't say. I've never been to Arizona, but it sure does feel like it. So let's start off. Let's just hop into this. Let's preview the Husker season, and specifically let's start off with the series this weekend. So Lance, I'll ask you first. What should we expect from this series, from this game tomorrow?
Oh, you're gonna be seeing good pitching all weekend. You know, that's the strong suit of this Nebraska baseball team. They got a lot of returners in starting pitching, so they're gonna go out there and they're gonna throw a gem.
That's awesome, Johnny. What are you seeing?
I'm just hoping for a quick start to the season because past probably 5 years, just terrible starts to Nebraska baseball weekends. Just not good pitching, not good hitting. You can just tell it's the beginning of the season. I'm hoping for a quick start this year, and I'm hoping they can definitely respond to adversity. If they're get down 2 runs early, get down 3 runs early, they can come back, get a couple hits together, and win some ball games.
And you look at the schedule; they're going to have to start off pretty strong with this schedule. There's not really any walkover games in here, so I think you're right. It's going to be important to start off the season right and strong. So we've got Jake Myers, Ben Miller, and Scott Schreiber returning this season. How key will those guys be, and not only the first games, but the rest of the season as a whole, do you guys think?
They got to be the leaders this year, and they definitely can be. I'm sure they were the leaders last year, especially Myers. He was a stud. Schreiber, real good hitter. Ben Miller, real good hitter also. And they're changing up positions a little bit, and I'm hoping they can lead some guys and lead the freshmen, a bunch of other guys in it. I think they'll do a good job at that.
Yep. Lance, who else are you looking forward to seeing this year?
I'm really excited to see Alex Rayburn. He's a transfer from North Carolina. They say he's the most versatile player on the team. They're playing him at shortstop for Stephen Reveles, who graduated last year. I think he's gonna be a key part to the team, definitely offensively and defensively.
Yep. And with every start of the season, we get the returning guys, we get the veterans coming back. You look for your leadership, but we also have some freshmen, specifically looking at Paul Tillotson. What do we know about this freshman coming in?
Yeah, good pitcher. Looking in high school, he had he threw in the upper 80s for a fastball. He could hit 90, and he's really good at locating, which is huge, especially a guy that's not going to overpower people. If you can locate that fastball, that's big. And then with a good fastball comes a good changeup. He's got a really good changeup, so he can change it up a bit, and he just has a good pitcher mentality. And high school coaches, they said he'd go up there and he knew he was going to shove. He knew he was going to beat those guys, and that's what I want in a pitcher. So that'll be good to see.
And Darren Erstad is pretty excited about him too. He talked about saying, quote, Tillotson he's physical and he's handled the pace of college practice pretty well. I think that's big to have your coach high up on you. I think that's good to build your confidence.
For sure.
What do you see in him, Lance?
Oh, I see another arm in the starting rotation, and that's huge for Nebraska because they didn't really have depth there last year. You know, you have this guy coming out of Colorado. He's the number 79 overall pitching prospect. Who's the number 1 out of Colorado. And, I mean, it's going to be nice to have somebody in there can throw strikes and get some outs. Yeah,
it's awesome. Depth is always key in Husker athletics, it seems. So let's look back a little bit. Let's look at last year. The Huskers finished 37-22. They were great at home. You know, I think they only had about 6 losses at home, but they struggled more so on the road. They were more close to 500 on the road, with only 3 more wins than they had losses. So how can they improve on that for this year?
It just comes down to consistency. I mean, they didn't play a lot of games away where both sides of the ball were consistent. They would either have pitchers throwing well and no offense behind it, or, I mean, they'd put up 7-8 runs and lose 14-8 or something like that. So I think this year you're going to see, behind the bats of Ben Miller, Jake Myers, Scott Schreiber, you're going to see some good offense, and you're going to see some good starting arms in there, shutting them down.
Yeah, for sure. What do you see, Johnny?
Yeah, like I said earlier, they just need to know how to respond to adversity, like especially without a home crowd, because they come to Haymarket and you got 6,000, 7,000, some of the best fans in college baseball around you, and then they go away, especially in Big Ten, and it's like they go to Iowa or Northwestern and there's like 400 people there, and they're just you can just tell like watching games when they're away, they're just like there's no one here. They weren't ready to play, and they go down 2-0 and then the game's over.
Yeah, I think if you look specifically at games, you think about the past couple of years, you think about like when we played Texas at home.
Yeah.
We had like record crowds,
Yep.
and they just fed off that. I don't know if that was like a neutral site game. I don't know if they win games like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right. I think it's going to be important to bring that energy into away games when they're not playing in quite bigger crowds. So we look at their schedule here. Like we said, this weekend they play UC Riverside throughout the whole weekend, and then they play Oregon State, and this is all in Arizona, going through February 22nd or 26th actually. And they play the likes of Oregon State and Utah, and then they go. Here's the challenging part of their schedule. Immediately after March 3rd through the 5th, they're playing in the Frisco College Baseball Classic. And I think this is going to be a good test for the boys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely pitching for these games. I think it has to be complete. They got to compete, too. Especially against teams like this, they're 2 out of the 3 teams, or all of them, actually, are College World Series contenders, like, every single year. So I think if we can get 2 out of 3 in that, that'd be sweet. But we'll see. I think what's big is our relief pitching during those. And we got a guy in Chad Ledsman, and he was a Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year, and he was a freshman All-American by 5 different organizations. So if we can get a quick lead, and then he comes in with a 1-run, 2-run lead, and he puts up a 0, I think he'll be huge in not only those games but rest of the year too.
Yeah, you look at the teams we're going to be facing: Oklahoma State, Arkansas, and Arizona. Some really good competition, Lance. What do you think?
It's definitely a resume builder, and it's good to see on our team's schedule, seeing them actually have some competition earlier in the year. You never like to see a team coast through their first game, so it'll build some experience and possibly build some confidence moving into Big Ten play later on.
Mm-hmm. And just thinking about Husker athletics as a whole, I think you can draw some comparisons between Urset and Miles here, wanting to get those tough games in, not only just like to get the competition, but like you said, resume builders, and getting that experience before you get into the more important conference games.
Yeah, I saw in an article, Erstad, he wants those tough games because he wants to host a regional, and those games are definitely going to help.
And that's how you do it, is playing those competition. And Frisco, that's a great place to have it. I've been to that ballpark. As you guys know, I lived in Frisco for a little bit. This great ballpark. Frisco Rough Riders play there.
Great weather.
Great weather all around. Who knows? By the time the Huskers come to play some actual home games, at the Hawks Center, it's going to be like, well, who knows? It could be like 90 degrees
That'd be awesome.
in March. God, who knows? The way we're going with this weather. But yeah, so 2017 should be pretty promising, wouldn't you say?
No, I definitely think so. I think this is a year we go back to the College World Series. We had that 2005 year where we lost in the first round, and since then they haven't really made it past a regional, let alone a super regional. So I think this is a year where they can get something going.
So you think we're gonna actually make a College World Series this year?
I think they got the players to do so.
Wow, that's awesome. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, we got the talent, and I think if we want to make College World Series, I harp on this a lot, pitching. But you look at all the College World Series teams, like they got just 2 or 3 aces on their team. Looks like they're gonna go pro, and I think we have those guys. I just think we need to be healthy. Last year that hurt us. Scott Schreiber went down before the Big Ten tournament. We went 0-2 the Big Ten tournament, made it to regional, went 0-2 there. I think being healthy and pitching that's what's gonna help us.
Yeah, you always want to look for consistency in any sport. And we talk about like the consistency as far as home games and away games. For me, I think the key is going to be being able to win those away games, because we talk about resume builders. You got to win them all, and you got to win the important ones. And I think the Frisco Baseball Classic will say a lot about this team. UC Riverside, that'll be opening whatever, but I think that tournament with that competition will really show a lot of the character. Especially, the chances are likely they're gonna go down by a couple runs. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to adversity, like you said, Johnny. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This should be a fun season.
Yeah.
If you want to follow the games this weekend, they're going to be airing locally on AM 1400 locally, and as well as 590 on Friday and Saturday. Every game is also available on the official Husker app, and admission is always free for students with their end card for home games. So we'll have to make it out to a couple of those. It'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm sure I make it out to a lot of games.
Oh yeah, that's always
especially
good.
with weather like this.
Yeah. So before we go, let's not just talk about baseball on this episode. How about Husker basketball? I mean, you want to talk about the roller coaster that is the Husker basketball season. You know, we talked about that Wisconsin game. Johnny, you predicted I think it was like 82-83 or 81-80. Was
close.
It was close,
Ugh.
just the other way. But I mean, you're seeing a lot of heart out of these guys, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're a fun group to watch. They're young, especially Ed Morrow back. That helps us.
Yeah.
See in that Penn State game. But we'll see how the end of the year goes.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about it off air a little bit. I think this is a team that has potential in a tournament like the Big Ten tournament, where we've seen them play so well head to head against teams. I mean, they really haven't been blown out of any game this year. I don't think at all.
Nope.
And I think that this team has a good build up and they might be able to make a run in the Big Ten tournament. I think so. That's why I'm hoping for it, of course, but I really do believe that this team can make a run in the Big Ten tournament. If they can win it, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
but-
I think they definitely need a strong end of the regular season. It's going to be real tough
Yeah.
because we're at Ohio State. They beat us. At Michigan State. I think that was the only game where I was like, we don't have a chance.
Yeah. And you can't really do much about that
Yeah.
game either.
Yep. Then we have Illinois at home. Then we're at a hot Minnesota team. That's going to be a tough one. They've been playing well right now. And then senior night, Michigan. So it's a tough way to end the Big Ten schedule, but I think we can do it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we've proved that we can play with just about anybody in this league, and like I think that Wisconsin game is a perfect picture of it. I think just by the eye test, if you didn't know like the circumstances going into that game, I think you would have thought that those teams were just about even as far as like national rankings or what have you. But I'm excited. I can't believe it's already the end of the season. Like it's already come down to the end of the regular season. It's crazy.
Flew by.
2 more home games and then that's it. But that's amazing. Now it's baseball season, boys.
Love it.
It's gonna be
Love
fun.
All right. Well, that's the show for today. A little shorter, but I loved it. We were able to cover some Husker baseball, sneak some basketball in there. Lance, I have to ask you before we let you go. What do you think about this Husker football season? You know that this is a football town. What do you think about the season coming up?
This is I don't know. I don't know what to think about it yet. We're gonna be a young team, but I think we got the talent to really do something special. You know, behind the arm of Tanner Lee with a star wide receiving core. You know, we're gonna have some big bodies on both sides of the ball, and I think it's gonna be fun to watch.
I'm looking forward to it.
Contenders.
Are you bought in on Bob Diaco? You know I am. I love Diaco, baby.
I'm full in on Bob Diaco. That man is.
How about that? Who's
hard not to
the guy we just got from Notre Dame too? Does anyone?
Oh,
who's
the
defensive guy.
yeah.
I don't know his name, but
We should know his name.
I mean, yeah.
We probably should have looked that up,
Yeah,
but
it's
we don't
fine.
know.
It's fine.
But yeah, I mean, I think Riley's bringing a lot of assistant guys, a lot of guys who will do a lot of good work behind the scenes. I think.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Shows he cares more about the team than he does about his personal.
Yeah. I think we're heading in the right direction for sure. And I think a lot of people feel more confident, you know, this time around as compared to like, you know, Bo's time around, and God forbid the Bill Callahan era.
Sorry. No,
But-
don't talk about that.
Yeah. Don't want to leave it on that note, but that's what we're going to have to do here. But thanks again for coming out, Lance. Always appreciate having you on. We'll have to have you on again.
Thanks for having me.
Midway through the season. Johnny, as always, thanks for coming out.
Yep. Go Big Red.
Thanks to the J School. We're going to go out and enjoy this nice weather. Have a good weekend, and go Big Red as always. Husker Talk Podcast, signing off.